In this episode of the Bannerlord Perks Guide, we will look at the leadership skill perks. By the end of this video, you will have a complete understanding of what each one does and which to pick based on your specific needs. I release 2 to 3 Bannerlord videos per week, so if you're into that kind of thing, consider subscribing. I put timestamps in the description for your convenience, and without further ado, let's get into it. Combat tips. Both of these perks are tagged Party Leader. The first gives 2 XP per day, which we can see waiting 1 day gives our 3 troops a total of 6 XP. The second unlocks more recruitment slots from notables of the same culture, which we can see from the testing. Raise the Meek. This perk gives 4 XP per troop per day, but is limited to tier 1 and 2 troops. We can see after waiting 1 day, the same 3 troops now earn 12 XP total. The secondary perk is for governors and gives 3 XP per day to garrison troops. The pick here is tough as they are both decent. Raise the Meek is more useful in the early game or for those who use lower tier troops a lot. Combat tips can speed up recruitment significantly without needing to raise relations. Raise the Meek is the only governor pick. Fervent Attacker. Again, both picks are tagged Party Leader. The first pick increases morale when attacking. In the test, we can see morale increasing by 3 with the perk. The secondary perk increases the rate of recruiting tier 1 through 3 troops by 50%. Without the perk, we gain 1440 conformity after waiting a few days, but nearly 2300 with the perk. Stout Defender. This perk gives our morale bonus when on defense. Without the perk, our troops have 35 morale, but with the perk, 42. The secondary perk increases prisoner recruitment rate, but for tier 4 through 6. Again, we see 1140 conformity without the perk, but up to 2280 with the perk for these tier 4 archers. Another tough pick is there are merits for both. Most campaigns have more offensive battles, but the times when we need morale the most are those few defensive battles where we get caught. For the prisoner conversion rate, I prefer to recruit higher tier troops, but again, either pick would be acceptable. Authority. The first perk is for governors and gives 20% more security for garrison troops. The second perk increases our party size by +5, which is always nice to have. Heroic Leader. Another governor pick first, this one giving +1 to loyalty, which is huge. This is a must-have for any governor. The secondary perk is for captains and increases morale damage with each kill. Picking for the main, authority is my go-to as anything that increases party size is good. Heroic Leader is the pick for governors as loyalty is by far the most important stat to have maxed out. Heroic Leader is the only captain option. Famous Commander. After winning a battle, this perk will increase our renown gain by 50%. In the test, we see a 7 renown as the base, with the perk adding 3.5 more. The secondary perk adds 200 XP to each newly recruited troop. We start by taking in 2 tier 1 troops from a village. Looking at the troop screen, we have an upgrade already. For each 3 tier 1 troops we hire, 2 of them will be ready for an upgrade right away. A final note, the XP gain does not work for converted prisoners. Loyalty and Honor. The recent change to morale in 1.7.0 made morale perks less desirable. However, we can see in testing they are still usable. First, we used tier 3 troops to fight the same battle with and without the perk. Without the perk, we ended up inflicting 488 casualties and had 52 troops flee. After taking the perk, casualties inflicted rose to 564 and 0 troops fled. We repeat the test with tier 5 troops and saw nearly identical numbers for both with and without, and only 13 troops fleeing without the perk. It mostly helps with the lower tier troops. The secondary perk increases recruitment speed of non-bandit troops by 30%. In the test, we see 1800 conformity without the perk and 2400 with. Famous Commander is a nice pick if you're struggling to reach higher clan tiers and for getting upgraded units from fresh recruits. However, I think Loyalty and Honor has a bit more use. Having no troops retreat from high tier armies can be helpful for huge battles. Also, prisoner conversion rate is never a bad idea. Leader of the Masses. Each town we own will give +5 to party size with this perk. In the test, we took both a castle and town and have +5, so it only works for towns. The secondary perk increases the shared XP generated by heroes. In the test, we dispatched 9 bandits in battle but see no shared XP for our main. It seems to only work with companions, but would be very difficult to test in a rigorous way with the new battle order system. Presence. A perk that gives us governor benefits without being a governor? Yes please. We can see a +5 line item added to the fief while waiting inside. The secondary perk removes the morale penalty for recruiting prisoners of the same culture. We can see a hit to morale for converting bandits, but none for taking these recruits. Note this perk works with matching culture, not kingdom. I'm usually a huge fan of party size perks, but presence is just so good. Not only does it help stabilize recent conquests, but it allows us to recruit as many same culture prisoners as we want. Leader of masses can be good if you own a ton of towns, but I still prefer presence. Citizen Militia. The first perk is for governors and gives a 20% chance to spawn veteran militia. The secondary perk increases the morale gain from winning battles. In this battle we see a 9.4 base morale gain, and with the perk adding 1.89 more. Veterans Respect. Another governor perk, with this one adding 20 to the garrison size. The secondary perk is the big one. It allows us to convert bandit troops into normal troops. We see from the test we can convert looters into tier 2 empire melee troops and forest bandits into tier 5 fiends. All of the other bandits convert into noble units, making this a great way to farm up noble units from other cultures. Picking for the main, Veterans Respect is the pick. This perk is useful in nearly 100% of all campaigns. For governors, Citizen Militia is more useful as garrison size is rarely a concern and raising it by 20 is negligible. Inspiring Leader. As an army commander, this perk makes it cheaper to form an army by 20%. Without the perk, it would cost 382 influence for this army, but only 304 with. The captain perk increases battle XP by 5%. Uplifting Spirit. Both perks here are party leader. The first increases morale for all siege battles by 10. We don't see an increase of 10 in any of these formations, however I suspect this is mostly due to militia and garrison troops being mixed in, and the perk will only affect our party's troops. The secondary perk increases the party size by 10, not bad. If you're struggling to farm influence and need to use other nobles' parties, then Inspiring Leader can help a ton. However, I tend to pick Uplifting Spirit for the party size increase, as influence is generally not that big of a concern in my games. Inspiring Leader is the only option for captains. Lead by example. Recruiting melee prisoners is 50% faster with this perk. In our testing, we see 2400 conformity without the perk and 3600 with. The secondary perk allows cavalry to generate more shared XP. To test, we dispatch this group of 10 looters with our cavalry and keep the recruits back to avoid getting direct XP. In the first test, we used tier 5 cavalry and saw 0 XP for our troops. It appears that XP is disabled for units that have no further upgrades, meaning they will not share XP for their kills. We repeat the test with tier 4 cavalry and see a tiny increase in XP for our infantry, but nearly 1000 more for our cavalry. Make a difference. The first perk improves the morale increase for our main character's kills. I was not able to see a difference after dispatching 10 looters, but I'm not entirely sure how morale gain works from friendly unit kills, and I would need to run further tests to have a conclusive answer. The secondary perk works like the previous one, but for archers. Fighting off the same 10 looters, we see a slightly larger increase for our infantry and about a 600 XP increase for the archers. I'm a huge fan of stacking prisoner recruitment speed modifiers, so I tend to use lead by example mostly. Make a difference can be really useful for the archer XP increase though, making it a viable choice. Great Leader. Both perks here increase the morale of our troops. The first increases all troops in an army we lead by 5, and the secondary increases troops of the same culture within our party. To test this, we use an army of same culture infantry and different culture archers and see an increase in both groups. Trusted Commander. This perk increases recruitment and ranged prisoner units by 50%. Without the perk, we gain 2500 conformity but 3800 with the perk. The secondary perk increases troop XP gain during auto-resolve battles by 20%. We destroy a looter group both with and without the perk and see just over 1000 XP increase after battle. If you find yourself leading an army of lower tier troops, then Great Leader can make a difference in the outcome. However, I find Trusted Commander more useful for the prisoner recruitment speed. The auto-resolve XP is an nice bonus for leveling troops while clearing small bandit groups. Talent Magnet. What an amazing perk. The first part grants 3 focus points to 3 random companions, which we can see in the testing. The real magic happens for the second perk, which increases our clan party limit by 1. With a good companion party leader, this can easily result in an extra 200 troops for our clan to use. We pledge our swords. Under normal circumstances, having an extra companion would be amazing. We can see the limit does increase with the perk, however it's overshadowed by having another party from the other perk. The secondary perk increases morale by 1 for each tier 6 troop we have up to a max of 10. We see in the test using 30 Fiend champions a healthy increase in morale for all units. The pick is talent magnet, end of discussion. If you don't plan on being part of a kingdom or starting your own, then I suppose the extra party isn't as useful and another companion can be helpful. Ultimate Leader. The final perk is a bit misleading as the wording doesn't explain how good this is. It increases party size by 1 for each level over 250. As we will see shortly, this applies to all parties within our clan and not just our main party. At level 330, we see an increase of 80 to our main party with the perk. We also see the same increase of 80 for each of our companion parties. One thing to be aware of, when you first take the perk, it doesn't display the increased party size without some workarounds. Here we take the perk and check our main party size, and at the very bottom is the perk line item, but it's not calculating at the top for the total party size. If you exit and come back, it will update correctly. We see the same issue with our companion parties. To fix this, open chat dialogue with each companion, ask to inspect their troops, exit, see the troops once more, and then it will display correctly on the party size limit. This needs to be repeated with each party to clear it. We're nearing the end of the video, which means it's time for the bonus. One of the biggest benefits to having higher leadership skill is the increase to prisoner conversion rate. However, the way prisoners are recruited is, well, janky to say the least. For this bonus, we will go over a mini guide on how to efficiently recruit prisoners. After winning a battle, any enemy troops that were injured are available for us to capture as prisoners. As time passes, we can recruit prisoners into our party. The rate at which we can recruit prisoners is determined by our leadership skill as well as the tier of the troop. As the tier troops increase, the time needed to recruit them increases. This time is displayed as conformity. We can see a tier 1 troop needs only 134 conformity to recruit, whereas a tier 6 needs over 1300 or roughly 10 times more. Conformity is earned each hour that we have prisoners in our possession, but there's a twist which we will see shortly. We start our testing at level 1 leadership, a group of tier 6 units, and waiting exactly 1 month to measure the progress. We see a conformity progress of 50-90 over 21 days or 10 per hour. We test again at levels 100, 200, and 300 to see the increases. Now we take all of the good prisoner perks from leadership and test it again to see the difference. We see a staggering 45 conformity per hour with all perks. Now for the twist. We take close to 200 prisoners into our party and wait the same month to see the results. We have 62 troops available to recruit, but only a single one is tier 6. Let's back up a step to see exactly what's going on. We take 7 different troop types into our prisoner hold and wait once again, but for only 1 hour at a time now. Going down the list, we can see cavalry has gained 25 conformity, but nobody else. Waiting for another hour, we see the swordsmen get the next 25, but no others progress. Conformity for prisoners is awarded to a random stack of units in your prisoner group on an hourly basis. That means that recruiting a specific unit type from prisoners becomes significantly harder the more different types of troops that we have. Looking at our example of these 7 troop types, the odds of any one of them getting the conformity tick is 1/7 or about 14%. If we want a tier 6 recruit here, we would need to get 55 hours or just over 2 days, but since we have to share with 6 other groups, it will take 7 times longer or 385 hours, which is 16 days. Now for the setup. It's difficult to recruit only one type of troop at a time since we will end up collecting a plethora after each battle, and not taking them means we lose them for good. We need only one fief, either a town or a castle will work just fine. Each battle, we collect all troops like normal and haul them back to our dungeon for safekeeping. After a few big battles, it's not hard to collect hundreds, if not thousands of prisoners. Now we simply need to load up on one specific type of troop that we want to replenish. My personal favorite is high tier cavalry since horse upgrades chew through our horse inventory. We grab all of one type of unit into the party and proceed. Now after each battle, we avoid taking new prisoners unless they match the unit we are trying to convert, since it will not take away from any progress. An easy way to know if they have the troop type without scrolling through the list is to click on our prisoners, and if they have that unit type, it will scroll to it automatically for us. And just like that, we can recruit tier 6 units into our party in just over 1 day. Don't forget to hit that like button before you go, and consider subscribing if you want to see more Bannerlord content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.